Alright, here we go. Finally done with Dialga painting. Really loved and enjoyed working on this. You always gotta make sure you love what you're working on, man. If you're drawing and painting something you hate, what the hell are you doing, man? That's all I gotta say. I mean, unless it's for work or something, you're working for someone, that makes sense. But this piece right here, I wanted to work on it. I've been wanting to work on the Shino legendaries. Got more in store for later. But anyway, let's talk about Dialga. And just love working with blues, man. Blue is one of my favorite colors to really work with. Just the blues on Dialga. There's such a different variety of blues. You got the that blue steel he's got on his face and his body. Those blue avatar markings he's got that I'll be working on later. And so I want to talk about the shading too. How I kind of was focusing more on just filling in the area of his body with the blues, and with that I'll start I'll lock the pixel layers and then start shading in what I believe would be much more brighter. So here you see me just kind of focusing on just the blues, and then slowly start working around to figure out what areas will be dark and what areas will be a brighter blue. And so continued on here with the other leg, just really focusing on filling in the colors. And then you see me here kind of switching to the soft brush, the big round soft brush, and kind of just rubbing out the lights with the blues and trying to think the surrounding area, just thinking about the surrounding area of where we're at, reminding myself that there's a bright blue portal behind him, and then he's got the lake trio around him that also emit light at the same time. So I gotta keep that in mind, and I do come back to it later, kind of edit some things. You know, don't be afraid of, if this was you're at this part, don't be afraid of deleting this and starting over again. You know, there's time, if you get frustrated, just delete it and try again, man. You know, just remember to save your old files, so you could always come back whenever you want. You know, just delete it, man, like a bandage, strip it. And so here I'm working on those steel parts. And so for the steel parts, I did the same thing. I made a new layer, and then what I did is filled in those giant steel pieces with a solid color, and then I locked those pixels and started painting the shading on that. So then that way the other pieces won't kind of blend together. I really wanted to be careful with those, with the blending, because if you see here in the chest area, the bottom piece kind of would, if I didn't pay attention to the shading, it kind of looked like they're merging together, which I definitely don't want. And there's also this piece on the leg that was kind of bothering me. You can see it right there. I'll bring it up later because I do end up removing it. For now, let's talk about the chest piece. So this chest piece was very difficult to make, man. I really want to say that, and you can see the last video and see what I struggled with. But here, I did just a bit of editing on the chest piece. So what I did is use this technique that Photoshop has, where you see that giant bar in the center that goes around the middle. You can move that around, and you would be able to mirror the painting from one side to the other. You can do the same thing by just duplicating the layer and then flipping it, but using that little tool is much easier and helpful, I believe. So that's what I did for there. And so we'll go back up to the tail part. Dialga's giant fins in the back that look like a peacock. You know, imagine if a peacock had those steel feathers or steel pillars, whatever. Those things look super cool, man. But here again, I was keeping in mind the lighting. I did a lot of editing for that main middle pillar too, or not pillar, more like fin, I guess. Just making sure that the thing was kind of even. I want to make sure on that. And those little spikes on Dialga's neck, they're a little bit problematic, honestly. They kind of look a little weird, along with the giant steel plates he's got on his back. So I kind of left those for a while. You know, I remember to go back and forth from things, so then you don't get all mixed up. You know, so you don't focus on something for too long. And so then for that, I went on these. I worked on the avatar markings he's got. Those cool blue avatar markings. It just reminded me so much of Avatar. I mean, he's got one directly on his forehead, you know, just like Aang. And so I really love working on this. It just looks so cool, man. Just like I don't know how you come up with something like Dialga, man. He's got like this giant cranial piece that reminds me of the aliens, the xenomorph aliens, man. I don't know. It just the way they developed Dialga just looks so cool. And here I go back to those little fins he's got on his neck. Keeping in mind the lighting, as I always say, kind of sitting back and thinking how this would look. You know, just when you're drawing, just and you're having trouble figuring something out, just stop for a minute. You know, take a break, and just pretend you have this little piece of metal in your hand. You know, in this case, this little piece of metal, and try to think of the lighting, how to work. And then I go back to the fins, keep working around the areas, just kind of like just jump back and forth, man. Don't worry about the specific area. Just always jump back and forth. And so here you see me working on the actual diamond piece he's got in his chest, which I really love. And I work on it, you know, get back, or kind of like zoom out, zoom in, working it out with it. And then I go down here to the pillar, do a little bit of editing, and now we're finally at Mesprit. Hopefully this isn't going too fast. I'm trying to keep up with the video. And so painting Mesprit along with the other two Lake Trios was fun, man. I love these guys. They're really adorable, and I think that just their appearance has so much character. Even though they're kind of simple, you kind of see like their face, if you see them online, kind of like their pictures. They're kind of adorable, I think. As I said before, they just look like fat alien babies with lobster hands, which is, I don't know why, but I kind of think they're adorable. And so the only thing that was kind of bothering me here was the gray, you know, their alien gray skin. So here Mesprit was kind of just like a test run. And then with Azleaf, once I finished up painting his blue area of the head, just changing things up, trying to see what blue fits more. Once I got that figured out, I kind of started redoing the gray. So you see me here, like there's a lot more gray in this part than there was in Mesprit. And then I use a soft brush again for the blending of the dark gray and the light gray. And I use this new knowledge that I found and go back on Mesprit to fix her up a little bit more, kind of like how I got Azleaf. Azleaf came out super good, and here I am going back into the Mesprit, fixing her up, making it look nice and alien gray. Brought the lights back up on those tails. The tails are pretty weird design, you know. I just don't really know where they would get that kind of design. But is there like some lore behind those tails? They're very, very odd and specific looking. And here we go. I think Yuxi is probably my favorite one, man. I think he looks the most chill out of all of them. I don't know if it's because he's got his eyes closed, you know. That's very relaxed kind of face. I think he's the most adorable out of the three in my case. I really like painting Yuxi, just the gold piece he's got on his head. It's like a weird turban kind of thing. It's funny. Just seeing a turban on like an alien baby, that makes my day, man. And then he's got like that red gem, like the other ones. The red gem just looks so nice. I think it really separates the original colors that they're from. You know, Azleaf being blue and Mesprit being pinkish. That red gem in the center really looks nice. And I think I struggled with Yuxi a little bit more than the other ones for some reason. It's just that the surrounding colors around him was kind of blending in too much, I felt, and so it was a little bit troublesome for me for some reason. And then the tail that's kind of behind him was pretty hard to paint because there was a lot of stuff going on there, but in the end I worked it out. And then so for their glow, what I did for their glow is I used a soft brush, painted over them on a new layer, and then on that layer I deleted their outlines. And then again I made another circle with them, and then select the inside of the circle, made it more their specific color, like so you see yellow. I fill that in and then deleted the inner layer, and then use a blur tool to make that ring around them. Same thing that I'm doing on with the portal here for Dialga. So I made that giant circle, and then the inside I make the selection smaller by a few pixels, maybe like 10 pixels smaller. You could do whatever you want, and then delete that inside. And then with the outer rim of the layer that's left over, I just used a blur tool for that. And so here I work on the floor. The floor is not that important, I think, so I didn't really focus that much. It's just put a little bit of texture, so it's just not one solid color. And I gotta remember, we're on a mountain, so if you look at the game, there's mountains all around you. So I made a little mountain in the back just for the sake of it being a mountain. And then I kind of not really ignored the pillars, you know, they're a big piece because you're on Spear Pillar, and this is Dialga's temple, I guess, or the Garantina Dialga Palkia temple, you could say. So I really wanted to make sure that that was good, you know, just good and nice looking, not to steal away from these guys right here in the center. And just edited those colorings, man. I gotta say again, I love working on this. I did a few more edits, and there we go, man. This is basically all that was made with. I think this video went too fast, but hopefully it didn't. I want to say thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you'll subscribe, like, shoot me a message. I got my Instagram down here and everything. That's all I gotta say now. On to the next image, right? I'll see you guys later.